2.
Thank you, Phil. And now we're talking to Wayne Collins over in Pittsfield. Wayne, how are you over there?
Well, I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Glendora?
Excellent, thanks. Tell us what we spent in September.
Yes. You pretty much spent everything that you were allotted for September, as I recall. But I have to give you the figures here. For September, your income from your pension check was $857.
Buffalo News.
Yes. And then the Social Security was $1,757.
Thank you, U.S. government.
And then your smaller check was $38.
Thank you, Gannett newspapers.
Yes, so that was a total of $2,652.
Oh, thank you. Let's round that off, folks, to $2,700.
All right. And I want to give you your final figures here as well. For your business for the month, you spent $2,057.
$2,000 for the month,
And your personal expenses came to $599.
So we spent 20. Total spent was how much, Wayne?
$2,656.
Well, that's pretty close to $2,700, isn't it? And that's what you said.
Yes. So you went under $4. You were $4 in the red for the month.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was pretty close. Now, technical equipment, you spent $236.
$236 on cameras and SD cards.
That's right.
Batteries.
Your non-employee compensation was $621.
Non-employee compensation, that would be Phil.
And
How much was Phil?
Yes.
How much was Phil, non-employee compensation?
Well, I can't tell you offhand because I'm looking.
All right. What was the total for NEC?
$621.
Thank you. That would all be Phil.
And your postage was $62.
$62 postage.
Telephone was $420.
Wow. Why?
Telephone there, so I think that had some.
Why? That's way off. I don't understand that. Okay, telephone, $400.
Yes, because you bought one or more telephones during the month, I believe. And then for gasoline was $72. Now I have cars for $0, but I believe you don't have the cars anymore, so.
Move on.
Then you had one-time only business was $0.
One-time only business, $0.
Office rent, $300.
Office rent, $300.
Medical was $0.
Medical was $0. You hear that, folks? 94 years old, no doctors and no medicine. And vegan.
Yes, dental was $0.
What was $0?
Dental.
Dental, good.
You spent nothing on dental all year.
Yeah.
Donations received $60. Electricity for business was $0.
Thank you, Heap. Thank you, Heap. Thank you, Karen.
Your museum was $102. And of course, your total rent for the month is $400. For print, it was $0.
Print for $0. The total rent is $400. That's an amazing figure, isn't it?
Yes.
In this day and age, when the lowest you can get is about $800.
Oh, yes. Print was $0. Consolidated internet, $0.
That is for Madeline. I pay her internet, and she reads me my email.
Okay, but there was none this month. And then bank fee was $128.
What would that be? Money orders, huh?
Yes, that and for the administration of the trust.
Oh, yeah, the trust charged me $120, and they're way behind.
Yes.
Poor Phil. Phil, what was the last payment you got from the trust?
I don't know. It was a stack of checks.
Okay, go ahead, Wayne.
Okay, airtime was $0.
Uh-huh.
Office supplies, $36. And high-speed internet was $20.
There you are.
Okay, now for your personal expenses, your groceries for the
Personal, folks. This is personal expenses.
yes, your groceries were $203 for the month.
203?
Yes,
And in addition to that, I have a food card.
yes.
Huh. Okay.
Okay, because the groceries have gotten to be very expensive, so this is not going to be a low expenditure. Household $53, laundry $10, electricity personal was $0. For clothes you spent $0, and the personal part of your rent was $100.
Oh, thank you, Wayne.
Well, you're welcome. Your health and beauty aids would be $26. Gifts,
That would be Pond's cold cream, folks.
that's right. Gifts for the month were $207.
$207 in gifts?
Yes. And
Oh, well, that's nice.
yes, and one time only personal is $0. And I keep a separate listing. This is not included under the expenses because they've already been included. For the vegetarian club, you spent $9 for the month.
Okay, thank you.
So that rounds out your expenses for the month of September.
You are so kind to keep those books, Wayne. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Did it tire you all out there?
Oh, no, no.
Now, did you and Ralph go to the Athenaeum, the Berkshire, the Pittsfield Library, and have a tutorial on the computer?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, it was what you would do if you wanted to set up an email. And, of course, I don't absorb it all because I'm not very tech savvy.
Well, you don't have an email for the first place.
No, no. But I wanted to know what it was like. So I did learn some things about it.
And were you and Ralph the only two there?
Yes,
And how long did it last?
about an hour.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's much more generous than they give here. It's only half an hour, Wayne.
Oh, actually, I think it ran over a little more than an hour.
Well, that's good. It kept up your interest. Did Ralph get a lot out of it?
Oh, yes, I think so. And
Isn't that wonderful? And it was free, right?
yes,
Now, how did you hear about it?
I was told by the head librarian in the reference department this would be coming up and that I might find it interesting.
And when did she tell you that?
Oh, a couple of months ago. I took it another session last month, and it's...
Oh, is it on a specific day?
Yes,
Oh, what day of the week and month is it?
it changes every month.
Oh, okay. Now, folks, I'm trying to summarize this for you people in Pittsfield, Berkshire County. The library has a tutorial on computers, how to operate computers. And it's every month, Wayne?
Yes, I don't know how many months it goes, but anyway,
It's every month, right?
as far as I know, I don't know how many months.
Do you know what week of the month it is?
No,
All right, folks, Wayne doesn't know. So call the library, would you please? Everybody call the library, and you can get a free tutorial at their grace every month.
Yeah.
How to operate a computer. What kind of a computer did they have?
I don't know what the brand was.
Was it a Dell?
I honestly can't tell you, Glendora.
All right, I'll stop. Tell me what you know, and then we'll go on to something else.
Okay, to tell what I know, I won't be telling very much, I'm afraid, but no, the instructor is very knowledgeable and very helpful. And of course, at the Athenaeum, if you use one of their computers, they're always there to help you from the reference department if you run into trouble.
Well, thank you very much. Wayne, what was Pittsfield like in the 1950s, downtown Pittsfield?
Well, it was very different from the way it is today. And I've mentioned in one of your other programs how we had the dime stores, the 5 and dime, Newberry's, Woolworths, Grant's, Grand Silver, Kresge's, and they're all gone now. And I saw changes take place. They closed one by one over the years. But Newberry's used to have a man who was a shoemaker down in the lower level, and they used to have a lunch counter on the right-hand side as you could enter, and they had a popcorn machine where you could go in and buy a bag of popcorn, and they used to 50s, each department was separate. In other words, a woman would be standing in the middle of like a circular counter, and you would pay for your purchase at that counter, and whatever you bought would be put in a small paper bag. So you might be carrying out 4 or 5 different bags from one store.
What fun.
Yes. And we had a big department store, England Brothers, and I believe it had 5 stories. I was thinking 4, but I believe it was 5. And they had elevators. They would hire elevator operators, and they sold all kinds of different things there. You could buy cosmetics. They had a book section. They had a section upstairs.
Where?
At England Brothers Department.
Oh, at England Brothers Department Store.
Yes. And that's gone now. It's a bank building there now. And we had clothing stores. You had Bessie Clark's and Rosenfeld's and Suckel's. And
Did you have a Kresge's?
yes, we had a Kresge store. And
Did you have Woolworth?
yes,
And when you bought piano sheet music, what was that like?
well, I buy that either at Sammy Vincent's store or up at the other end of North Street at the upper end at Wood Brothers. And Wood Brothers is still in existence, not on North Street. It's over at the Allendale Shopping Center in Coltsville.
What was that you told me that if you went in, a pianist would play the music for you to see if you wanted to buy the sheet music?
Oh, that was before my time, but one of my aunts worked in Grants, and they did have a woman in the music department, and she had a piano, and she would play a piece for you if you wanted to see how it went. And I mentioned how before the store opened, the employees would gather around the piano and they would sing.
Nice. Tell me about the lunch counters.
The lunch counter, there was one, I mentioned the one in Newberry's, and there was one in Woolworth at one time. It was over on the left-hand side. And I don't remember there being any lunch counter in the other.
And it could cost less than $1?
Oh, yes, yes. You could buy a hot meal for 75 cents in Woolworth. And
Wow.
in the early 60s, that was the price, 75 cents.
Wow.
And we had several nice restaurants up on North Street. They weren't these 4 or 5-star restaurants, but they were smaller restaurants where you could go in and buy a meal that was adequate and nutritious for a reasonable price. We had Rosa's where you could go in, the Rosa restaurant, specializing in Italian foods. There was one called the Hub, and we had several of these smaller restaurants down on West Street. At one time, Johnny's restaurant was there. I don't know if that was in the 50s. It was there in the 60s. We had the Berkshire restaurant down there, and of course, the Busy Bee was well known in Pittsfield, and they had wonderful spaghetti there.
Did practically everybody work at General Electric?
Yes, and on Thursday night, when they got paid, they got their paychecks on Thursday from General Electric, and North Street would be bustling with activity.
Yes, right.
And
What was General Electric manufacturing in Pittsfield?
well, they did defense work for one thing. That was very important.
They did what? Defense work?
Defense work.
But I'm talking about 1950.
Well, they made electrical appliances too,
Uh-huh.
and there was one section that was chemical, and there was they would make transformers and all sorts of things.
Uh-huh.
There was one section that was called glass pushings.
What?
Glass pushings, and
Glass bushings?
I imagine that was to make probably what would it be that they would use? I don't want to say fuses, but
Wires and the telephone poles, string wires around the telephone poles?
probably used for things like that. I know that it did. One of my mother's friends worked in something at one time called glass bushings.
Okay, Wayne. Anything else you want to tell us about downtown Pittsfield?
Well, downtown Pittsfield really was the only major place you could shop until until the shopping centers came along and the larger stores on the outskirts.
Yeah.
In the fall of 1955, the Allendale Shopping Center was the first shopping center
Oh, yeah.
around here. And of course, there they had there's a very large parking lot, and you could park as long as you wanted. You didn't have
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
meters. And that was what the meters took in the 1950s. It was pennies. And you put the penny in and crank the time on a meter. And we had stores where the women would shop too for clothing, Holden Stones, and the textile shop. And there were so many different stores up on North Street. It's been sad to see it. So many of the stores die out. We still have one nice clothing store up there, Stephen Valenti's.
Okay. Wayne, can you tell us a joke?
Tell you a joke. Well, I like the joke about the stockbroker who had mistletoe over his door of his office, and he was asked why, and he said that's so the clients can kiss their money goodbye when they come in.
And about the stockbroker who said you'd be surprised how many people come into my office in a limousine with a chauffeur to get advice, the guy who comes to work on the subway. And then what else? The stockbroker. Anything else? Let's see. Oh yeah, the Wall Street magnate came home and his neighbor said, "What's the latest dope on Wall Street?" And the magnate from the Wall Street said, "Our son Irving, he just went to work for us." Let's see, there was another one too. Oh yeah, the stockbroker. The man says, "I buy Sweet Chariot stocks." Do you know what those are, Wayne?
Oh, what are those?
As soon as you buy them, they swing low. And I'd like to have you tell the story about the little old man and the little old woman who were summoned to court.
Oh, yes. The little old lady was brought before the judge, and the judge said to her, "You were arrested for stealing a can of peaches." And she said, "Yes, Your Honor." And he said, "How many peaches were in that can?" And she said, "6, Your Honor." And he said, "Well, I'm going to sentence you to 6 days in jail, 1 day for each peach." And the little old man standing beside her, who obviously was her husband, said, "May I speak, Your Honor?" The judge said, "Be brief." And the little old man said, "She also stole a can of peas."
Okay, Phil, are you around?
Yes.
No, you're not. You're a square. Phil, would you kindly turn off the camera while we see what we want to do next?
Yes, I will.
Wayne, the Pittsfield High School just had a wonderful reunion. Tell us about it.
Yes, we did. That was for the class of 1965. We had wanted to have a 55th class reunion 2 years ago, but it turned out because of the pandemic that we weren't able to do so. So we called it a 75th birthday party. And we had 80 people attend.
80, wow.
Well, this included husbands and wives, but we had in our graduating class 768.
Well, that is a big class.
It was, and we didn't have double sessions, so we had over 2,000 students in the school. And everyone who went seemed to have a good time. And I got up and made a little speech about how when we were growing up in Pittsfield, there were certain radio personalities and television personalities who were part of our lives. And I mentioned Uncle Jim Fisk on Freddie Fryhofer, and then I mentioned Bronco Bill, and I mentioned one of the DJs from WPTR, Boom Boom Brannigan, and then I said, maybe you watched Glendora when she was on SS Glendora or in her spaceship on Satellite 6, and I'd be getting these murmurings from people. Yes, they remembered. And I mentioned that I had spoken with you just recently.
Yes, practically every day.
Yes, that you wanted to send your congratulations and greetings to the class, and you wanted to say hello to all your little buddies from your WRGB days.
Yes.
And I mentioned that a couple of your old fans had contacted you recently.
Tell the people how many years ago you had this reunion, and this year 2012. And what year are you talking about to the people?
Well, do you mean the year that your program was on?
1955.
Yes.
And how many years is that? 68?
67. And at 55 would be 2022. So it's coming up to 68 years.
And how old are you people? About 74?
75. We have some who are 76.
Yeah.
And
where did you have your party?
the party, well, we had a meet and greet the night before.
Where?
At the GEAA Clubhouse on Crane Avenue. And then we had our actual luncheon reunion the next day on Saturday at the Country Club, Pittsfield Country Club on South Street.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
And I told the people that you're still on television.
Yeah.
I mentioned 72 stations from Boston to San Diego, and I could tell they were amazed.
Yeah.
And I told them that you thought it was wonderful we had attained the age of 75, but I didn't know why you thought it was such a big accomplishment since you're 94.
94, no doctors, no medicine, and vegan?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Well, that's a very good account, Wayne. I enjoyed my visit with you and living the old days of Pittsfield when it was such a charming little city.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. You take care. Let's see, can you give us one more joke?
One more joke. Well, I like the sign in the coffee shop window that said, "Don't make fun of our coffee. You'll be old and weak someday."
Yes. And there was another sign in the coffee that said, coffee shop that said, blended coffee. Customer, what's it a blend of? Waitress, yesterday and today's. Take care, my dear love.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye.
Wayne, I thought I could let you go rest, but Phil, Eddie, my helper, has another very interesting question. Loudly, Phil, what is it?
Well, I'm from this area, Albany area, and I don't know too much about Pittsfield. The only times that I've been there really were to travel through it on the way to Mount Greylock, which is a beautiful mountain, or to visit family in Massachusetts. But I've been listening to you and Glendora talk about how great Pittsfield has been, and what does it have to offer now for people who might be interested in taking a trip over?
Good question. Go forward, Wayne.
Yes, we have the Berkshire Museum on South Street, and that has a collection of art on the second floor, and the natural history and scientific exhibits on the first floor. One of the popular exhibits at the Berkshire Museum is the mummy on the second floor.
Ooh.
Mummies?
Mummy, yeah, they have a real one.
Oh,
They do. Tell Phil about it.
Oh, yes, it was a young man who was mummified, and I know at one point they brought him to Berkshire Medical Center, and they x-rayed the mummy, because, of course, it's all wrapped up, encased, but they've had that as part of their display for a number of years.
And what else, Wayne, is the big attraction over there?
Well, we have the local history room at the Berkshire Athenaeum, the library, which has to do with authors who were prominent in Berkshire County.
And do you know some of those?
Well, one I mentioned, they have his books, is Jim Shulman, and you know him.
Yes, yeah.
And, there'd be Herman Melville.
Herman Melville?
And we have Arrowhead down on South Street where Herman Melville did some of his writing. That was his home.
Well, I think you're all missing one of the biggest one. What about Tanglewood?
Yes, Tanglewood is in Lenox.
Well, yeah, but sort of Pittsfield attraction, isn't it?
Oh, yes, that certainly is a Berkshire County attraction. And then there's the Mount down in Lenox.
Phil, have you ever been to Tanglewood?
Oh, yes.
Phil,
It
I'm
sounds-
asking.
it sounds like a mess to tangle. What is it?
The Boston Symphony.
Oh,
Yes.
Is it only the Boston Symphony, or is it the Boston Pops? Or?
They have that, too. There's a Boston Pops Night. And they also have a popular artist series when they have different people come in.
What, Wayne?
They have a popular artist series when engage certain popular artists to come in and give a concert.
Name the last one.
I don't know which was.
Yes, it was. You went to it and you were there until midnight trying to get home.
Oh, that was the John Williams' 90th birthday party.
John Williams, does that mean anything to you, Phil?
He does the soundtrack for a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Yes. He writes music for the movies.
Now, of course, the big attraction is the Berkshires themselves.
Yes.
Which is part of the Appalachian Mountain.
And of course, James Taylor does a concert there every year. And
Okay. Anything else, Phil?
The Hairpin Turn, is that near Pittsfield? I remember that very well.
it's in
No, that's in North Adams. The Hairpin Turn, honey.
Yes, that's in North Adams.
Yeah.
And we have the educational institutions, Berkshire County. There's the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, which was North Adams State College.
And you have West Stockbridge with Norman Rockwell.
Oh, yes. Yes, the Rockwell Museum down in Stockbridge. Williams College up in Williamstown.
The Red Lion Inn.
Yes, that's in Stockbridge.
Yeah. Well, I guess we answered that question, didn't we, Phil?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And remember, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Phil, how much time do we have left?
You have about 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. I think that we will do a Bible passage. I have one from memory, Wayne. Let's see if you can get one. Mine is all things work for good for those who love the Lord and know his purpose. And we know what his purpose is. When everything is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Wayne, have you got a Bible passage from memory?
Yes, be ye kind one to another. That's from I believe it's the 6th book of Ephesians.
That's a pretty short one, Wayne.
Well, there's more to it. Be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving, as Christ has forgiven you.
Oh, that's nice. And now I think we can sing a hymn. Let me think what one we want to sing.
Maybe one that takes about 20 seconds?
Pardon me, honey?
Maybe one that takes about 20 seconds?
No, I can go over a little bit. Crown him with many crowns, the Lord upon his throne. Hark how the heavenly angels drown all music but their own. Awake my soul and sing of him who died for thee, and crown him as thy matchless King through all eternity. Wayne, you want the last word, dear?
Well, the last word is to tell everyone to have a good day. This is the day which the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad.
Thank you. That's a beautiful. Phil, anything to say before we go?
Remember to do a good deed for someone else today and pass it on.
Nice. Grace and peace, everybody, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.